not on the artist. The artist can play and sing the way they play and sing. And then if you catch that wave of adrenaline and excitement and you lift a crowd up and it's like lifts you up. How a team can get lifted in a sporting event by the enthusiasm of a crowd, how it can push, and that's all real stuff. And it happens to musicians too, and all of a sudden you got this adrenaline going and you play better than you've ever played on a certain night or whatever. And
at 67, country music icon Vince Gill finally revealed the truth about Kris Kristofferson, one of the most influential songwriters of all time. For years, fans have conjectured about their relationship, but Gill is now correcting the record. Music has never been visual to me, and the entire purpose of that show and that building is the visual side of it. Was it a startling admission that he made? Join us as we unearth Vince Gill's moving remarks about Kristofferson and the influence he's had on his life and career, a sincere homage or an untold secret that alters all we thought we knew. This revelation may surprise you. The legacy Vince Gill left behind regarding Kris Kristofferson is indescribable. When questioned about Kris Kristofferson, Vince Gill didn't think twice, since he had personally seen how Kris Kristofferson transformed songwriting. His storytelling was unparalleled, his vocabulary was unheard of, and his words were deeper. Vince acknowledged, but Gill had one of his own confessions back in 1997. He released a song without understanding something startling. It had exactly the same melody as Kristoffer's, which got me through the night. When he understood, he went to Kris and apologized. When I informed him, "Hey, I think I just lifted one of your songs completely," Kristoffer's attitude was one of humility. He was the type of man who was more focused on the music than ownership, but what really stood out to Vince was the moment he spent with Kris at the Hall of Fame induction. "I don't care," he stated, utterly unfazed. Lisa Vince was allowed to take Kris into the crowd by his wife. Hand in hand, by that point, Kris Kristofferson was lost in his own thoughts, a shadow of the man the world once knew, but to Vince, that moment was priceless. "It was a nice memory for me to have on the day Kris passed away." Vince and his band were on the tour bus doing what felt right, playing his songs one after another. "Me and Bobby McGee helped me get through the night," and the list continued. That's when Vince revealed the truth about Kristoffer's legacy. Would you call him a great singer? No, but the songs were so good that no one cared. Perhaps nothing captured Kristoffer's fearless spirit more than the time he flew a helicopter directly to Johnny Cash's house, just a pitch. Cash hardly knew Sunday Morning Coming Down, but the song was unquestionable. When the network wanted Johnny to remove the line about being stoned, Kris refused, and Johnny stood by him because he knew the truth. Who was Kris and what legacy did he leave behind? Kristoffer's influence went beyond his voice or a popular song. It was about the unadulterated, unstoppable power of music and a legacy that would never die. Watch to find out. The rebel who revolutionized country music, Kris Kristofferson, during a period when the business was dominated by polished, radio-friendly artists. Kris Kristofferson was more than just another country music artist. He dared to take country music in a new direction with Nashville sounds. With hits like Bobby McGee for the Good Time and Like Me, his unadulterated poetic lyrics brought a depth and authenticity that the nation had rarely experienced before. Kristofferson solidified his status as one of the greatest songwriters of his generation with Sunday Morning Coming Down and To Help Me Make It Through the Night. His lyrics had a way of reaching deep into the soul and expressing longing, heartache, and regret in a way that felt both intensely personal and universally relatable. Kristoffer's path to fame was anything but typical. He was a Rhodes Scholar, a veteran of the military, and a temporary janitor at Columbia Records. He was born in Brownsville, Texas, and grew up in California. His path took many twists before he finally got his break in Nashville. He didn't just write songs, he lived them, and his authenticity resonated with both artists and audiences alike. His impact wasn't limited to music. Kristofferson's rugged charm and natural talent led him to Hollywood, where he built a successful acting career. From A Star Is Born to Heaven's Gate and the Blade trilogy, he brought a unique presence to the big screen, proving that his storytelling abilities weren't confined to just Songwriting as a member of the High Women alongside Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson and Waylon Jennings, he helped redefine the outlaw country movement, proving that music was meant to be real, raw and unapologetically honest. He wasn't after fame, he was after truth, and that's exactly what made him a legend even after earning multiple Grammys, being inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame, and receiving the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. Kristofferson remained humble when he retired from performing. In 2021 it wasn't with fanfare, it was simply a natural evolution, and when he gave his final performance in 2023 sharing the stage with Rosen Cash to honor Willie Nelson, it was a fitting farewell to a career that had reshaped country music. On September 28, 2024 the world lost one of its greatest songwriters when Kristofferson passed away at 88, but legends don't truly die, they live on in the songs, the stories, and the hearts of those they've touched, and Kris Kristofferson's legacy will last forever. Kris Kristofferson left a legacy that will live on in our hearts forever. How has Vince Gill matched this legacy, and how did he become the legendary musician he is today? Stay tuned to learn about the call that changed everything for Vince Gill. It was just another typical day as he was going about his daily business, handling chairs, thinking about his future, and reflecting on his long and successful solo career. He had built something remarkable on his own, but he couldn't shake the feeling that something was about to upend his entire world. He didn't realize that a single phone call was about to completely upend his world. The person on the other end of the phone was Irving Azoff, the Eagles' longtime manager. Vince replied, unsure of what to anticipate. His heart was racing with fear, and he was shocked by what happened next. When Vince first heard that the Eagles wanted him to join the band, he couldn't believe it was real. After all, they weren't just any band, they were among the most renowned in rock history, and their music had influenced generations. Their harmonies were distinctive, and their influence was undeniable. Vince even entertained the idea that it might have been a fake because something this monumental didn't happen overnight, but as he paid close attention to Irving's somber tone, the truth of the situation started to set in. This was no laughing matter. The offer was overwhelming in and of itself. The band wanted him to fill the void left by Glenn Frey, one of their original members who had lately passed away, not just join as a new member. That appeal carried an incalculable weight. Vince experienced a wave of emotions, including honor, disbelief, excitement, and an overwhelming sense of responsibility. He had dedicated his entire career to establishing his own identity as a solo artist and making a name for himself in country and bluegrass music, and now he was being asked to join a group whose music had served as a defining soundtrack for millions. Despite his excitement at the prospect, he couldn't help but wonder why he felt that he had the musical ability, as his guitar and vocal range naturally complemented the Eagle sound. It seemed difficult to replace someone as irreplaceable as Glenn Frey. The thought of entering such a prestigious legacy was intimidating, but when the answer arrived, he was caught off guard. This choice was not solely based on skill, it was based on much more. Don Henley, a co-founder of the Eagles, stated that Vince wasn't merely a possibility. Henley greatly admired Vince's musicianship, his character, and most significantly, his profound admiration for the Eagles' legacy. He was the only candidate they had given serious consideration for the position. This awareness meant that it wasn't only about replacing Glenn Frey, it was also about paying tribute to him and preserving the band's spirit. Vince realized that this call wasn't just about filling a position, it was an invitation to start a new chapter in his life, to embrace the legacy of a band he had long admired and find a way to combine his own artistry with a history far bigger than himself. The journey ahead wouldn't be simple, there would be pressure, expectations, and unavoidable comparisons, but Vince Gill knew one thing for sure, his life had just changed forever. Vince Gill's call set off a musical journey filled with heartbreak and healing melodies. Heartbreak and recovery. The personal journey of Vince Gill. The emotional appeal of Vince Gill's music has always been tremendous. His compositions capture feelings like melancholy, love, regret, and hope that are frequently hard to put into words. For Vince, music has always been about processing life's most trying times, not about melodies or lyrics. His music has provided comfort not just to himself but also to many others who find peace in his words on a deeply personal level because each note in the song represents a step along his path, including his struggles, losses, and successes. Vince's life has been characterized by both tremendous success and major setbacks. He has endured the highs and lows of fame while navigating the painful realities of interpersonal relationships and health problems that could have destroyed his career. One of the most trying periods of his life during his early career was the dissolution of his first marriage. A gifted musician and member of the rodeo band, Vince married Janice Oliver. Their shared love of music initially drew them together, but as Vince's fame increased, the strain on their relationship increased as well. Despite their best efforts, their marriage failed and they divorced in 1997. The end of Vince's marriage was a very painful time for him as he battled heartbreak while attempting to be a loving father to his daughter Jenny. The experience pushed him to confront his own flaws and as always he turned to music for comfort. During this time his music highlighted themes of the loss, reflection and self-discovery which resonated with people who had gone through similar struggles. But just when Vince thought his love was ended, life shocked him again. He discovered a second chance at happiness with Amy Grant, a Christian music icon. Their bond was strong, and what started as a friendship quickly became much more. They married in 2000, combining their families and starting a new life together. However, merging families is never easy. Vince had to deal with the issues of step-parenting, co-parenting and adjusting to a new family dynamic. There were difficulties, growing pains and seasons of uncertainty, but Amy was always a source of love and comfort. He often credits Mom with being his rock, guiding him through some of his most difficult periods. Together they created a household full of love, religion and music. Their partnership not only gave Vince a sense of security but it also influenced his songwriting in new ways. His latter compositions centered on themes of thankfulness, healing and joy, reflecting the tranquility he found in his second marriage. Fans were able to experience their amazing artistic synergy through duets such as House of Love, in which their vocals merge seamlessly, reflecting their strong bond throughout each setback and achievement. Through suffering and passion, Vince Gill has done what he does best. He has put his heart and soul into his music. In return, his music has offered people comfort, hope, and trust that they will never be truly alone no matter what life throws at them. Vince discovered his calling, but let's see what happened next as he battled health issues and returned to country music. Vince Gill has struggled with a lot of personal issues, but they go beyond heartache and losing his job. His condition has also put his resilience to the test. Serious health issues have forced Vince to leave the spotlight multiple times throughout the years, serving as a reminder to followers that even the most powerful voices require time to heal. Vince's most upsetting and agonizing: he suffered a health setback in 2018 when he developed severe kidney stones. His discomfort soon turned into a fearful battle that led to a dangerous kidney infection that necessitated hospitalization. This health issue came at a particularly bad time, forcing him to postpone a number of commitments, including a highly anticipated appearance at the CMMA Awards. While they were sad, they were also worried about his welfare. Then in 2020, barely 2 years later, Vince was given yet another unsettling diagnosis. For a musician whose life revolved on singing, touring, and showing off his ability to the world, learning that he had a congenital cardiac condition that affects blood flow from his lungs to his heart was a painful reminder of his own death. Despite serious health setbacks, Vince showed his courage, persistence, and willingness to overcome any obstacle in his way by taking time off to concentrate on his recovery. Vince has remained a pillar of the country music community, proving that his commitment to the business extends well beyond his own accomplishments. He has never allowed adversity to define him. He has worked hard to inspire and develop the next generation of musicians, and his impact is felt deep into the country music industry. Promoting up-and-coming musicians and giving them the same support and encouragement that helped him launch his own career has been one of Vince's greatest passions. Vince has demonstrated that he cares just as much about the future of country music as he does about the past, whether it is through partnerships, personal mentoring, or just using his platform to highlight up-and-coming talent. His commitment to conserving the heritage of country music extends beyond just mentoring performers. Despite personal struggles with his health and career, Vince, a valued member of the board of directors of the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum, has contributed significantly to the preservation and commemoration of the genre's history. He has worked with others on a number of initiatives to honor legendary musicians and their accomplishments, ensuring that their stories continue to inspire future generations. Vince Gill has maintained his position as a leading figure in country music thanks to his commitment to the field, willingness to support others, and capacity to transform setbacks into noteworthy successes. Despite his challenges, Vince has never ceased giving back, even in trying times, because music is more than just a career to him, it is a lifelong dedication to something greater than himself. Vince persevered, but did scouts ever creep in? Keep watching to find out. A reluctant superstar and a legacy in question. Vince Gill has never been one to pursue stardom. While many singers strive for #1 singles prizes and global fame, Vince has always sang from the heart, allowing the music to speak for itself. At 67 he remains one of country music's most revered singers, and his craft only grows with age. Vince Gill wasn't always the beloved figure that he is now. Music was always present in his home in Norman, Oklahoma, where he was born. His father, a brilliant guitarist and banjo player, taught him about the beauty of stringed instruments, while his mother sang and played the harmonica. By the age of 5, Vince was plucking his grandmother's guitar with incredible assurance, unintentionally laying the groundwork for a lengthy quest. His childhood, however, was not without trials when his parents divorced. When he was a teenager, he turned to music for comfort instead of allowing sadness to consume him. When Vince graduated from high school, music had completely replaced any traditional career path. He left the comforts of Oklahoma behind for the vast opportunities of Los Angeles in the late 1970s. The City of Angels was unlike anything he had known, far from the small-town bluegrass gatherings where he had once played here. The music scene was alive with rock clubs, neon lights, and an energy that both delighted and overwhelmed him. Vince transformed his emotions into melodies and lyrics, honing the raw storytelling skills that would characterize his career. Vince's first taste of success came in Los Angeles when he joined the country rock group Pure Prairie League. The band's blend of rock and country gave him more recognition and songwriting credits that suggested he was developing a talent for telling stories. Although he enjoyed the attention, the longer he stayed, the more he realized how difficult it was to balance radio hits with creative integrity. Vince was determined to get back to his origins. Many years later, it seems that the journey has come full circle with more cancellations. Nashville, with its rich history of country and bluegrass music, appealed to him like an old friend. It wasn't just about choosing a career, it was also about being honest with himself and realizing that he needed to go back home if he wanted to create music that truly expressed his spirit. Given his health concerns and retirement rumors, fans are wondering if Vince Gill is finally leaving the music business that shaped him or if he is just getting ready for the next phase of his already remarkable career. Only time will tell, but one thing is for sure, Vince Gill's legacy will always be ingrained in the fabric of country music. What do you think about what Vince Gill had to say about Kris Kristofferson? Please share your thoughts in the space provided below. Thank you for viewing this video, and please remember to like and subscribe. To watch more of your favorite celebrity tales, click the next